What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Sunday, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a new episode from Jesse Michels' podcast. Jesse got to speak to an alchemist from a different country. His name is Kirsan Ilyumzhinov. He used to be the president of the Republic of Kalmykia and a longtime president of the World Chess Federation, which I guess is where Jesse got to meet the guy. And this is a person who he has held a senior political office, sat in Russia's state council, advised President Vladimir Putin, met repeatedly with Henry Kissinger, Jimmy Carter, Pope John Paul II, and is really good friends with the Dalai Lama. So this is a former president of a republic within Russia, but he's still a president who came out to tell his story of what happened to him. He came out to talk about something that happened to him in 1997, which he claims was that they took him on a ship, and he describes different beings from a different civilization. And there are many different really shocking aspects of this that I gotta share with you guys. If you want to believe or not, I don't really care. I think this is an important video from Jesse because it is from a former head of state and somebody who's really important, who's been in the tightest of circles. And I just want to know why Jesse didn't ask him about Harold Malmgren, because according to what Jesse reported himself, Harold Malmgren was really good friends with a lot of people from the World Chess Federation. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe I missed it. I did watch the entire interview and I didn't see Jesse asking him about Harold. So I don't know. But I think this is an important one, and I want to show you a couple of clips. The first one is of what these beings or this civilization thinks about humans and about how not ready we are to make contact with them, which is something that I've been talking about here. I think anybody who has common sense can tell that humans are currently not at a great stage in evolution. We're very violent. There was just an attack on Bondi Beach in Australia. My condolences to everybody who was affected by that. And it just keeps happening. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of philosophical differences that we can't seem to arrange or get past through dialogue. We still fight. We still build guns that are trying to be more destructive than the one our neighbor is building, which is fucked up. It's a sign of a low evolutionary trait, in my opinion. And I think this guy just confirmed it. And I just want to share with you guys what the former president of Kalmykia has to say about this and what he experienced with these beings. So here it is.
Thing was flickering, like screens, different colors, images. I asked, "Can you connect to the television from here?" There are many channels like CNN or Russia Today, Al Jazeera. I said, "Why can't you address the people of Earth right now? Let the people of Earth know that you exist, that you have arrived, and now observing. Or I can address them instead and say that I have met you, interesting ones. We have waited for you so long. People like the great Tsiolkovsky and Sergei Korolev, the first person in space, Yuri Gagarin, on the 12th of April, 1961. And when he was sitting in the spacecraft, engines on, the first words he said, with which you started today's interview.
Поехали. Let's go, yeah.
And then Gagarin said the words, "Let's go." And the rocket lifted off from the ground towards the new, the unknown. They looked at me and said, "It's still early. You have not yet reached the level in your civilization's development to communicate with us." I said, "How come? We have television, the internet, spacecrafts." They asked, "Do you converse with ants?" I say, "No, well, we haven't learned to talk to ants yet. We live in different dimensions. Your only achievement in civilization is that we created you. the intelligent beings here. Not
Did you catch that? And this goes back to a lot of the ancient scripture, a lot of what's been talked about right now. I know that people who are involved in all of this disclosure and whatever truth lies behind the curtain, I know that when they're having conversations amongst themselves, fully knowing that some agency is overhearing everything they do or say, whenever they're talking amongst each other through phones or other media, and they start talking about specific topics, that's when the communication starts going down and getting disrupted. And I'm specifically talking about Project Preserve Destiny. And this guy is saying that whatever he was told by the aliens in 1997 is that we were created by these beings thousands of years ago. This tracks with pretty much all the ancient scripture that has been written. They talk about this. They talk about being created by some higher being or beings, and we just take it as myth because it doesn't have the historical, documented, and scientific evidence to prove any of those claims. That's a problem, though. But this guy coming forward with his credentials, talking about everything that he's talking about here, I don't know, man. Maybe it is true. I don't know.
only humans, but everything that surrounds us, like animals, everything living around us, also has intelligence. The same goes for cats, dogs, cows, and so on. Your only civilizational leap is that before you used to eat them raw, and now you kill and cook them, and eat them in restaurants by candlelight. That is your level of development. Every creature that lives in the universe must go through certain stages, and you still destroy each other. We kinda created you here. Gave you a beautiful land, rivers, lakes, seas, and you pollute it with industrial waste, burn, cut down these forests.
I think that a large part of why we took this road, it all originated from the early 1900s when Tesla was trying to get his technology to be commercialized in some way. He didn't want for people to pay too much for it, or he wanted it to be free. And JP Morgan wasn't happy with that. And he took away his funding from Tesla. And then pretty much every single business owner that knew that the energy revolution was about to come, they bet on a different horse. And that's what kickstarted the technological moment that we have right here. But we could have gone down a different path with Tesla, and we didn't, because we cared more about this lower evolutionary trait that is money and consumerism and violence and all of these traits that we're eventually going to get out of, but it seems like we're not ready yet. It's just the reality. And I keep arguing that we can, that we're going to be able at some point, if we can convince ourselves and if we can talk to each other, to entangle our minds, and overnight things can change. I really do believe that because it's happened before many times. We just have to realize that we're being played, and that's it, really. And there's so many tools that are being used for by these powers that be to play us, to trick us. The internet is one of them. When it's not used properly, you can use it to socially engineer certain areas of the world. That's just how they do it. And there are many tools. It's not just that, you know? So I think that it's still possible. I still hold a high hope that we can, but we need to keep talking about this, you know? And I full kudos to Jesse for going all the way over there and talking to this guy and getting him on the record to talk about his experience. More of this needs to happen. That's why I released my near-death experience video recently. And I'm going to keep releasing more videos about my experiences just so people can be more brave about it and they can come forward and talk about it too. Everybody needs to do it, just like this guy.
Right now, there are over 117 armed conflicts happening around the world. You are so beautiful. You have 2 arms, 2 legs, a head on your shoulders. Yet you direct all your science and efforts towards inventing weapons to kill each other as much as possible. Whether it's bacterial, chemical weapons, atomic weapons, or neutron weapons, you are always coming up with ways to kill more people. I recall the words of Nobel Prize winner Albert Einstein when he was asked, "What will the Third World War be like? What weapons will be used?" He said, "I don't know about the Third World War, but I know what people will use in the Fourth World War. Sticks and clubs, like our ancestors." And so, that's where our discussion ended, about whether to connect to television or not. On the other hand, they said they didn't want to disrupt the course of our civilization. You are
The Prime Directive he's talking about. Famous Prime Directive.
currently at an embryonic level still. You have a scientist, Charles Darwin. He said that everything evolves evolutionarily. First, living beings were in the water. Then they came out of it. Then there was a monkey. And so humans evolved from monkeys. On the other hand, there are various religious teachings. You have books, like the Bible in Christianity, and others, like Islam, Buddhism, Judaism, and others, that talks about something else. So just imagine, if we say on television now, that we have been here for a long time, millennia, millions of years, watching. And not only us, but others too. Back in his time,
Others too, as in other civilizations, not just them.
the great scientist, the Russian scientist Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, said that not even the whole universe, but simply our own galaxy, the solar system, is teeming with different intelligent civilizations. And until we overcome our egocentrism, such contact, communication, probably won't happen.
It also seems kind of like this president was told that we need to abandon ego in order to advance. And I just can't help but share this image that was done by my good friend Cole Watkins. So take your screenshots right now. And this is what we need, I think. Ego deaths for everyone. This is obviously Terrence McKenna. Thank you to Cole for that. This is the way that we are going to be able to get past these evolutionary hurdles, because that's what they are. Ego deaths for everyone. If we get to conquer ego collectively, we're going to get really far. But right now, it's the most critical moment. I think it's right now when it comes to consciousness. And I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but I sure as hell will put up a fight. And I'm sure you will too. And when he talked about the ancient civilizations, he said something also very, very interesting that I want to show you guys too.
Remember anything else that you learned from the answers they gave to your questions?
The main thing I'd really like to relay is the same what's written in those holy books. All these ancient texts did not appear out of nowhere, you know. The Vedas, the Quran, the Bible, the Talmud. Or take Leonardo da Vinci, for example. He was given information as well, you see. How is it even possible, you might ask, 500 years ago, in the 15th century, to sketch a submarine, a helicopter, an airplane, advanced technical devices that would only be invented centuries later? Where did these ideas come to him from? This means they must have come from above. Perhaps aliens were the ones who told him. When you look at the old irrigation systems, the whole water supply, the melioration work in Egypt, things no computer today could really calculate, or the buildings in Peru or in Lebanon, in Egypt, the pyramids, they built it with such precision. Right now, no modern technology can, actually recreate that. Even the largest cranes we have today couldn't lift these 100-ton stone blocks, the slabs used in building ancient palaces. Meaning a person today just couldn't build that, couldn't build it now. So it must have been another civilization that built it, and they still stand. Or take the pillar in the center of Delhi in India. It's got 99.9% iron, and in modern conditions, no metallurgical plant, not a single blast furnace can produce iron that pure. You can walk right up to that pillar, touch it, all of that. Or for example, in Brazil, when they're sawing through marble mountains, cutting marble slabs, they find pieces of a clock inside the marble. They even found a gear. How is that possible? This marble took millions and millions of years to form. And how did this metallic thing get in there? Many things like these artifacts, that people seem to want to explain, but thus far, simply cannot.
And that's what this guy is trying to tell you, though, or insinuating at least, that civilization, as we know it, has been tampered with and even may have been created by some advanced, super advanced civilization that probably built the pyramids, probably built a lot of the megalithic structures out there. That's what he's trying to insinuate, I think. But I would recommend you watch the entire thing. It's really, really interesting. Jesse just keeps outdoing himself when it comes to this stuff. I know that Chris Ramsey also recently had a gentleman by the name of Jeremy, who is a contactee, and he came out for the first time to show his face and his name on Chris Ramsey's podcast. And it was a really interesting and riveting conversation as well. The first time he came out, he didn't show his face. He came out with Linda Moulton Howe, the legendary UFO investigator. And I just gotta give major kudos to both Jesse and Chris, because they're doing fantastic work. And this one is really important as well. Let me know what you think overall about President Kirsan Ilyumzhinov. What do you think about his experience? What do you think about the beings that he encountered? I'll be reading everything. Please let me know. If you like the content you see, I'm going to ask you to like, share, hype, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That's all you need to do in order to help us, and it is what helps us the most. So thank you. But if you want to support us in other ways, there's a few links down there you can choose from. You can also become a member on YouTube. You can also become a member on Patreon if you want. I just opened a Patreon account last week, and it's doing really well. So thank you for the support. Or you can support us through KGRA. Anything you choose to do is always appreciated. So thank you. That's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like President Kirsan Ilyumzhinov. Always. Bye.
Psicoactivo.